So join me for this this watercolour demonstration. I'm going to paint it loose, I'm going to paint it fast. I'm going to try and get the atmosphere in, you know, the style I paint in, kind of impressionistic, abstract style. And just look at it behind me. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Going to look forward to this. Big shadows as well. So I'm back in the studio, guys. I've used the sketch, as you can see. The heavens open, so I've just basically had to come back into the studio to finish this off. I'm going to try and get this done all in one go. So I've just wet the paper. You can see here. Going to try and get in these clouds as well. That was a little bit of leftovers there, kind of grey mixture. We've got a little bit of ultramarine. I want a maximum impact round here. Just gonna pop that sky in and just leave it alone. Gonna pop in some yellow ochre. As well, coming down, let that blend and bleed. I might need to move the board up actually in a second. Let's just bring this in all over here. There is an under kind of tone on Ely Cathedral that is kind of yellowy, and then it's kind of grey, so we'll pop this in anyway. Let's get this in as our main sort of hue underneath. I've got some yellow ochre there actually. It's like raw sienna yellow ochre. It's probably too strong. Let's just weaken that down. And we're going to bring it in all the way around here. Down here, that's going to be blending in here. In fact, let's just go all over this part. We're going to Another focal point is a church, but we've got a counterbalance here, so we just need to be careful around these figures. Lots of figures going into the cathedral. We'll pop in. This is a Kadinsky. Anyway, squirrel mop round brush, not a mop brush. Here's the squirrel mop brush. We'll be able to zip pigment around really quick in here. Mix it up a little bit here, warm it up with a touch of burnt sienna, just in these buildings on this side. Here's the main part of the cathedral. Just give that a bit of an underpainting. In background again, there was a few buildings in here. We'll just warm that up slightly for effect. I'm gonna use my Sean Terrington Wright Urban Collection box, the SAA, that you can no longer get, collector's item. I'm gonna just pop this under here to give us a bit of hopefully we can still see everything okay. Yeah, it looks looking good. Just so that the moisture is running down, the water is running down. It's lifting everything up. Nice. So that's kind of like the first initial wash that we've got in, and we're gonna let it do its own thing, let it blend and bleed in here. There's a couple of things I need to sort out. We're getting a tissue, you can see it's quite moist in here, and we can dampen some of these edges off as well. That's a bit strong to me. In the sky, remember the sky is the eye. The sky is the eye, the light is coming from the sky, so we don't want it too dark on the horizon, so we'll just take out some pigment while it's still damp enough to do it. And gut feeling tells me also along here as well. We kind of want the light to be in here, coming across. There we go. That's better. So this has got to dry off. So that's stage one, and I'll get back on stage two. So guys, this is dried off enough to work into. We're gonna work in with our mop brush predominantly. Just test that. Yep, there's a bit of a hair there. Get rid of that. Yeah, sit on back of my hand, because I know my hand's quite clean on the back. Just gonna get that in. So, next is we need to put in our wash here, and we're gonna go in for leftovers that are here. That's great. We've got a neutral tint, and we've got ultramarine blue. Let's just test this. That's a good. Let's pop this in. We could go a little bit darker. We just need to get this in quite quickly. Should have enough mixture there for this wash. There we go. Just careful around the figures. Just leave some chinks of, little dibs and dabs and chinks of light there. Yeah, because we've got figures down walking in. They're just going to be suggested, but they're there. Believe me, they're there. And again, on the cathedral itself. Same mixture here, a bit weaker. Might touch a bit of blue in there in a second. This is kind of secondary here. This is not, you know, this is, we don't need to worry about this. This is, we'll let the pencil work kind of shine through. We're not worried about this at all. Let's just tidy that up a little bit. Let that do its thing. Make sure we just leave bits and bobs down here. And in here is also part of the cathedral. All in here. Careful around the heads. Again, leave little chinks of light here for the figures, and that's that. Across the back, on the horizon, we'll mix up a bit more of a blue mix. These buildings here that come in are there, and this blue will send them back. They're there. There's a whole bunch of trees as well. We want this stuff to join up. Gonna pop in a touch of water there. I don't want that hard edge. Not sure what that was. Just let that bleed down. We don't want that as a hard edge. Little bits and bobs, little bits of tower. There's a little tower in here as well. One there. Another little tower here and here. That'll do. It's kind of running down. Just take that, make that a bit. And so we've got to allow this to dry off. It's quite nice. We've got this mixture coming through here. Then on this side we've got this building that we need to get sorted out as well. But this is okay for the moment. So we're back now, stage 3. That's kind of dried. Going to go in with this round sable brush. Going to come down here. It's much warmer. We're going to go into burnt umber. Just going to keep these buildings here really simple. Add a touch of ultramarine as we come down as well. These can be fine as dry. Brush stroke down there. I'll bring this in. Make this fade away as well with a touch of water. There we go. And there'll be a big shadow here anyway, so this will help underneath warm parts up. so that will shine through when we get the shadow in. We're just going to leave that really simple. I'm not going to mess around with that too much. I will bring a shadow colour in on it in a little while. Here's another little sable brush, a little detailed sable brush that we're going to use in a second. But before we get there, I want my number 6 of Skoda, which is in my bag. So I'm going to find the number 6 of Skoda. Kind of a halfway house, this one, between bigger round brush. There he is. My favourite. This is a synthetic. Let's just test here, see what's going on. We're just going to pick in some details in here. Some of it's going to be wet. We're going to bleed, and some of it's not. And here we're going to come in with ultramarine and our neutral tint to pick up some details. There's people and bits and bobs in the background. This is less so we're not too worried about this. Just creating movement, joining everything up all the way across. We need to leave this figure here in white because I want maximum impact there. Let's just join up here. Comes to the end. Also touch in a touch of water, so parts of this blend and bleed off, you can see, and some of it's going to be kept as sharp edges. Just pop them in. A couple of lines there. I'm going to go for drier. Just coming round. There is a kind of pathway there. I don't want to make much of the pathway. It's just kind of guiding. It's guiding the eye in. It doesn't need to make too much of it. Pop in to give a bit of mixture as well. A little bit of dry brush in here with this burnt sienna. Figureheads, funny. The heads of the figures all queuing up to go into the cathedral. Keep all the highlights, you can see all these guys going in. We'll pop in the head of this figure and the head of that figure. This one here. Just keeping all these heads in a line, that's the thing to remember. Eye level, coming in. Here, there are a bunch of railings coming in. And again, I don't want to do too much with this. I keep this quite loose. There we go, that'll do. I don't want to bring in too much there. We can use some, shadow type stuff off there. This is dry. I'll dry this out a bit more. There are kind of windows and things in here. Again, we're going to keep this loose. And that would do. We don't need to worry about this side at all. It's just vague impressions. This is all dry. Start to bring in some of this, these darker parts, darker windows, darker notes. But again, I don't want to, it's just impressionism, guys. I don't want to elaborate and do any kind of what I would call fancy detail, fine detail. Don't need it. This is an impression. Yeah, painted fast, quick, with energy, with hopefully panache. I'll pop in some of these. This one here is important. We'll go back to this original mixture. It's kind of the darkest dark. We've got some neutral tint in here as well. We'll pop in. Taking the eye in there. Let's just get this off there. Just picked up some neutral tint just to mix in. You don't want everything all the same like here, because we've got the kind of burnt sienna. I don't want that all burnt sienna. That's a bit too strong. Strong tone, I mean. Again, this is just in the background. We just don't need to worry too much about this in terms of any details. It's just kind of right mix in, really. Just want to keep this nice and loose. And as simple as possible. Same as in here, just keep it simple. But the pencil work can do a lot of this that we already have in. Just the impression, here we go. Let's pop in some dry brush as well for expressive marks. What do you say, expressive? Expressive marks in here. Again, we don't need to worry too much about this. We're just gonna suggest there are highlights in here, darks and so on. Okay, join this up with a few lines. It's just the energy and the movement, that's what we're trying to get in. Okay, we're going to pop in the figures. We're going to have this one here, one light, one darker, in blue, predominantly blue. There. These will just keep cool. Whoa, that's a lot of neutral tint. Join these guys up. Pop a bag in here. Let's go for some burnt sienna. Or a dry mixture, look, you can see that. There we go. Do. Let's put it on here. On there, and a bag. I'm going to pop in a red bag. Just ping the eye here. And all these other figures at the back. So small. just suggest a few. Dry brushes. Dry brush work there. Really busy cathedral. There's lots of visitors from all over the world. And that's the kind of busyness that we're suggesting. And then we're going to pop in shadow. The shadow's really important. Some quite long shadows as well coming in. Do there. Don't need to worry about the shadows back there. We'll pop in a shadow just on the side of the figure because the light is coming across. There you go. We can have them walking towards us. So here's a bit of a blue tone there. Just do that. That'll do. Briskly walking off towards the cathedral. They're excited to get in there and look. Now then, shadows. Shadows. You know what I'm going to say about the shadows, guys, don't you? Just need to bring the tone up of this on this side. Really do, it's quite weak. Gonna have to be neutral tinted. And this has to be done. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, whoa, what is going on here? Well, this needs to be done because we've just got to get the values going. If we don't get the values here, it won't push everything else back. So we do need to do that. We can pop in a bit of neutral tint as well, a bit of ultramarine to help. And yeah, we're going to get some nice little textures in there. We'll pop in a bit of spray as well. It will be fine. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. And we'll pop in some dry brush work in here in a minute. This part here, I'm going to just quickly come in with, there's a whole bunch of trees and things, but I don't want to define them too much. I quite like this area, but just down here there was a bunch of trees starting to come through. So just drop in some blue and hope it bleeds off. Well, not hope, I know it will bleed off. Mixtures here into this yellow. There we go. That's better. And then we'll take just some clear water and a tissue because I want to retain the light that was in here. I thought that was great, the light in here. So we'll leave that kind of vague, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit, touch more blue. Not everywhere, just to create a little bit of variety. The tips of these are quite dark. This tower here, a little bit darker. We're getting there. Again, some bits and bobs coming in. I'm going to bung in the shadow in a second across here. Just a bit more dry brush on this. And then getting close to finishing, as you can see, with this smaller brush that I have. Just strengthening some of these tones up here. What are we missing? Not much. There's a couple of lamps. They're very fine. We need that to dry, so I'm going to have to put the old hairdryer back on there. Excuse me, I'll sing as I go. La 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 la. Hope you're all enjoying this. Think we're about done. Right, we are coming to the end. Getting near the end. Let's get some of the finer brushes. We've got number 6 to go to there, and we've got a 0 brush here. A couple of my new ones. This is a Fumui. I think it's Fumui. Very nice brush. Works really well. Yeah. There's just one thing I need to do. I need to put some water in here. And then just need some warmth in here. Not too much. Okay. Shadows here. I'm gonna mix up some shadow colour, my famous shadow colour. Ultramarine and crimson, as we know. Today's ultramarine and crimson. It's got a touch of all kinds of leftovers in there. Get some water in it. Because there are some shadows coming in here that we need to define. Obviously shadows here that I need to define. I'm going to do it with a, just saving that liquid, little tip, with a mop brush. With my mop brush, that is dry. Sharp edges here all the way in. All the way across the bottom. Bit dry, a little bit dry. It's all the bits that are coming in here, guys. Touch of ultramarine, just to mix it. A little bit, let that do its thing. Touch of burnt sienna. Again there, let that do its thing. Just got to do a little trick here, cover up, pop in there. I didn't want this to get there, but I wanted that to get there. That will all blend and bleed and mix in lovely. And we need some shadows in here. This is in the light, this is in the light. We've got, there were cloud shadows, there was all kinds of things hitting this building. I need to be careful around here. I need all this in shade. I don't want to bleed that into the edge too much. We do it a little bit. Just retaining some of this light down in here. A few of those. Then here. To overdo it in terms of going back in. That's what I mean about overdoing it. All this was in shadow. Just down here. Interesting. I'll just take this out a little bit here. It's starting to well up. Too many sharp edges. It works better without all sharp edges. Want that to the reason you have to, when you design and say where do I want the eye to go, not here. So if I make that too light, it's going to go here. I want it to come here, kind of here, start going around the painting. So for the highlights, I've got some Chinese white watercolor paint, and we're going to use this fine sable brush, straight out the tube, no messing about. Remember, the light's coming in from this way, so that's what we need to echo in here. Looks okay there. Let's try and pop in. Touch on these heads. Put in some just dry brush in here. It's going to mix up a bit. Just pick up a few highlights on that. It's easy to overdo this, guys. You just have to kind of restrain yourself, he says. Just fiddling in here again. I'm happy with this. So as things dry off, I've just dried this off with the hairdryer. I've noticed that the tone here just needs to come darker, but before I get into that darker tone, I need to pick up some quite neat, just paint by neat, that's what I mean. Just to put in some of these suggestions of windows and lines that we got there. Not much, just a suggestion. It's absolutely fine to do that. This, you know, it's an impression, isn't it? We did have the railings that were here as well, so we better kind of define those in. I mean, there are black railings there, iron railings, but that might be a bit too much. Let's see. So we go back, they're getting smaller and smaller. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. What do you think? Yeah, we'll lose that in the final shadow wash that I need to pop in. Final shadow wash again. Ultramarine, crimson. I'm going to bring it in here because I need to push this back. The tones on there are not strong enough, but here we go, this is better. I need these much stronger. Just tying all that up, getting some edges in, suggestions of the shadows of the buildings that are there. That works better. That's pushing everything back now. Notice how that's done that? And we need to come in here. So I could go in with the original hue, or I could just bung in more shadow mix, which will do the same sort of thing, and that's what I'm going to do, because this is all in shadow. I'm going to warm this one up. Lots of pigment. I'm going to warm this one up. Straight down, no mess, and you don't want that all to blend and blur and bleed in there. And what we'll do is we'll just leave this to kind of merge in as a suggestion, these railings. I don't want them, because they're dark, I don't want your eyes to go over there. It's really not important. But that helps push all of that back now. It's working much better. Introduce a bit of burnt sienna in there. Then with a clean brush, introduce a cooler cucumber back here, and we're done. Just give them variety in the shadow, don't make them all the same. Of course, we always say we're finished, aren't we? And we're talking nonsense. On this left-hand side, we had the suggestion of a few. The spring is just about sprung here in the UK, but it's just a touch of those branches coming in. We don't want to overdo this. This is like really not a huge part of the painting in terms of just leading the eye, kind of enclosing it, if that makes sense, encapsulating it. I hope that makes sense. I hope you can see that. My hand's not in the way of that brush work. It's pushing on and lifting off. We've got dry brush in there. We've also got not dry brush, liquid. Bit of foreshortening coming down here. Kind of telling the eye, go there. See this? This the kind of idea that I've got in my head. It's like, go there, look here. But I think that works. The only thing that we need to bear in mind is touch of foliage in there. I'm going to find my little brush that anybody who's watched my SAA demonstration many years ago, probably 13 years ago, 2013, so 11 years ago. You'll find it there on my channel, you'll find it there on the SAA site, Sean Terrington Wright. You'll see me doing a demonstration with this little mop brush and smashing it in here, and we're going to do that again. You kind of almost pick up like Here we go, you kind of smash this in here. This is the lights coming in, because remember it's spring and there's not too much. This is just the foliage coming in. And then I just pop in some blue to pick up on the yellow. And that's kind of it. There's not much to it, but it's quite effective, I think. Especially for spring, when you've got branches and things showing through and foliage showing through. It's quite effective. That'll do. It's easy to go crazy again with this stuff. Less is more, as they say. Less is more. Let's just scratch out a couple of these. Get the light in. Back in. There we go. That will do it. Coming in here. Right, I think we'll take the tape off while we're here. So hopefully you enjoyed that one and you learned lots about the way to tackle a massive architectural subject like Ely Cathedral that we can see in the background. Anyway, take care now. Remember to like, to subscribe and all that jazz. And just get out and paint. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.